Thank you very much, devotees, for kindly being present here today, this morning. I am so thankful to His Holiness Shachinandan Swami Maharaj for the wonderful Katha yesterday evening, where we got some solution for Sri Krishna's absence from Sri Vrindavan. And we hope that he said today will be a unique Katha, which nobody has heard before. And he mentioned the name of one literature, Sri Premapattanam, the city of love. It's the city of contradictions, so to say, but it's a very wonderful literature by Sri Rasikottamsa. I'm very eager to hear this evening's katha. So thank you very much, dear Maharaj, for the full katha yesterday. The devotees will begin today's presentation. We are continuing from where we left off last time in understanding Bhakti Rasa. And dear devotees, we understood that the concept of rasa was first presented by Bharat Muni in his Natya Shastram. And in Natya Shastram, does anybody remember how many rasas Bharat Muni had described? 8. And the commentator, Sri Abhinav Gupta, added one rasa to it. Which rasa was that? Shanta. So here you can see all 9, 8 plus 1. The first one being Shringar, romance, top left, and the bottom right being Shanta. All right, so you can see all the rasas. Those who are expert can identify. Simply by expressions of the eyes, rasas are explained in 9 different photographs. So this is Nat Shastram of Bharat Muni, and this was developed into a separate art called as Bharatnatyam. How many of us have heard about Bharatnatyam? Yeah. So what is Bharatnatyam? It is Natya Shastra of which Muni? Bharat Muni. So whatever in Natya Shastra of Bharat Muni, you will find in Bharatnatyam, that traditional dance, and all other dances are also inspired from Bharatnatyam. So these dear devotees are the 9 rasas were mentioned by Sri Abhinav Gupta in his commentary to Bharat Muni's Natya Shastram. Before we continue, I'd like to offer Mangala Charan in order to follow the tradition set by the previous great acharyas and in order to remove any obstacle. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै गुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं गुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं द्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये कल्पतरुभ्यश्च सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Top left, dear devotees, is Shringar Ras. What is Shringar? Romance. In the middle, there is Hasya Ras. What is the meaning of Hasya? Laughter. On the right side, there is Raudra Ras. What is the meaning of Raudra? Anger. In the middle row, on the left side is Karun. What is Karun Ras, dear devotees? Piteousness. In the middle, there is what is known as Jugupsa, Bibhatsaras, disgust. On the right hand side, there is Bhayanak. What is Bhayanak? Horror. Hmm. On the bottom left, there is Veer Ras. What is Veer Ras, dear devotees? Chivalry. In the middle, there is Adbhut Ras. What is Adbhut Ras? Wow. And on the right hand side, on the bottom right is which ras, dear devotees? Shanta. These are the 9 rases of Bharat Muni displayed by the same artist, simply using expressions of the eye. This is Bharatnatyam. We'll begin with a quote by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Does anyone have the mic? Yes. Prabhupada says, please read.
Adoption of Bhakti Rasa or Krishna consciousness will immediately bring one to an auspicious life, free from anxieties, and will bless one with transcendental existence, thus minimizing the value of liberation. Bhakti Rasa itself is sufficient to produce a feeling of liberation because it attracts the attention of the Supreme Lord Krishna.
It's a very important paragraph by Srila Prabhupada. If we pay attention to the words, adoption of Bhakti Rasa, and how does Srila Prabhupada translate Bhakti Rasa or? So, dear devotees, they are synonyms. Because International Society for Krishna Consciousness, the term was derived from a Sanskrit verse by Srila Rupa Goswami. Does anybody know which verse it is, dear devotees? Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavita Matihi. So actually the name, the Sanskrit name should be International Society for Krishna Bhakti Rasa Mati. That is the original intended name, and that is what has been translated into Krishna consciousness. So basically this particular series of lectures is on Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is represented in the Sanskrit language as Bhakti Rasa. Will immediately bring one to an auspicious life, free from anxieties, and bless one with transcendental existence. So, very important. You immediately feel happy on experiencing Bhakti Ras. You don't need to wait for some delayed happiness after decades. It is immediately available, thus minimizing the value of liberation. Bhakta itself is sufficient to produce a feeling of liberation. Have we heard this somewhere? Dear devotees, Bhakti Rasa is sufficient to produce a feeling of liberation. In the last talk, we heard what to speak of Bhakti Rasa, even or Rasa is sufficient to produce a feeling which is beyond liberation. What then to speak of Bhakti Rasa? Actually, Bhakti Rasa trivializes the feeling of liberation, because one of the 6 qualities of Uttamati is Moksha Laghuta Krit, which means it trivializes even the joy of impersonal liberation. And it also attracts the attention. That is the 6th quality, Shri Krishna Akarshini. So Srila Prabhupada is specifying many technical terms in simple English language here. And dear devotees, I feel incompetent in presenting this particular topic because I really feel unqualified to speak on this particular topic of Bhakti Rasa. And therefore, dear devotees, you are hearing from an unqualified person. Here is a verse which describes my stature. Please repeat after me. बालादपि ग्रहीतव्यम् युक्तम् उक्तं मनीषिभिः रवेरविषये किं न प्रदीपस्य प्रकाशनम्. In the second line says Yuktam Uktam Manishibi. Manishi means very learned people like Sri Rupa Goswami. Whatever has been spoken by them, that is Yuktam. That is all right. But if a child like me speaks about it, it doesn't look good, dear devotees. How many of you agree? Please raise your hands. Mentally, many of you have raised your hands. But Bala Adapi Grahita. But even if I am a child, please accept from me this very esoteric subject matter. Because Raver Avishaye Kimna. The sun is the greatest source of light in the universe. Sun illuminates everything, isn't it, dear devotees? Yes. But there are some things which sometimes a sun is also not able to illuminate. Sometimes you need a small lamp to illuminate what a sun cannot illuminate. So, dear devotees, my stature in front of Sri Rupa Goswami may be like that of a small lamp in front of the sun. Sometimes a small lamp can also illuminate certain areas which the sun may not be able to illuminate. So, dear devotees, accepting that position of mine, kindly listen what I have to say. Here is the translation of it. Please read.
The wise should honor even the words of a child, if such words are bona fide. Does not a tiny lamp illuminate a place where the sun?
This is the mood with which the series of presentations is being given. We were specifying Bhakti Rasas, dear devotees, and Sri Rupa Goswami was the personality who gave that complete understanding of Bhakti Rasas. But today we have to understand how Rasa works. And we will have some realities about Rasa, but then we also have to start relishing each and every Rasa. Last time was a bit technical because I had to lay the foundation of the concept of Rasa. Today will be slightly technical, but we will also have some kind of actual Bhakti Rasa verses. Sri Rupa Goswami defines Bhakti Rasa in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu as follows. Here is the verse in front of you. Please repeat after me. Vibhavairavaischa Sattvikairyabhicharibihi Svadyatvam Hradi Bhaktanam Anita Shravanadibhi Esha Krishna Ratihi Sthai Bhavo Bhakti Raso Bhaved. So this is a very technical definition, dear devotees, and I'm trying to dive into it, but I will try my best to explain it to all of you. Please stay and please don't switch off, dear devotees. All right? I'll try my best. All right. Although the title of the series is, Introduction to Bhakti Rasa, but an introduction cannot be complete unless the definition of rasa is given. So, dear devotees, here is the definition. Please repeat after me, dear devotees. I will say something. What is Bhakti Rasa? Please repeat after me. Sthai Bhav. All right. What is Bhakti Rasa, dear devotees? Sthai Bhav. All right. In one word, if you have to answer what is Bhakti Rasa, what is it? Sthai Bhav. So, Sthai Bhav is Bhakti Rasa. But Sthai Bhav alone cannot become Bhakti Rasa. It has to be nourished by a few things. Please repeat after me. Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvik Bhav, Vyabhichari Bhav. All right. So when the main component, what was the main component, dear devotees? Is nourished by Vibhav, Anubhav, Satvik Bhav, Vyabhichari Bhav, then that Sthai Bhav turns into what, dear devotees? Bhakti Rasa. Sthai Bhav turns into Rasa. Dear devotees, if you have not understood, please don't worry. We will explain everything in simple terms. So, Prabhu, can you kindly read the translation that Sri Rupa Goswami gives?
Through vibhava causes, anubhava, sattvika bhava, effects arising from the mind, and vyabhichari bhava, transitory moods, the sthai bhava, predominant emotion in the heart of the devotees, is nourished during the process of Shravana, Krishna Katha, etc. Thus, this sthai bhava, predominant emotion, is what becomes bhakti rasa.
So, once again, dear devotees, I am trying to fix the concept nicely. What is Bhakti Ras, dear devotees? Once again, what is Bhakti Ras? Sthai Bhava. And Sthai Bhava nourished turns into what, dear devotees? Bhakti Ras. All right. So, this is what Bhakti Ras is technically. Now we will understand what is Sthai Bhava, Anubhav, everything in a very easy manner. The previous acharyas gave the example, a very simple example, dear devotees, as Gaura Hari Prabhu also said, and I had mentioned, ras is found in two places. One is in bhakti and another is in food. So in food also we have rasas. So the previous acharyas explain bhakti rasa by giving the example of food rasa. All right. So now let's take the example of food rasa. The previous acharyas give the example of a sabji. All right. But because we are in the West world here, so we'll take another example. The example is in front of you, dear devotees. This is a wonderful, dear devotees. Once I was in India, and in India we also call ketchup as sauce, dear devotees. That's so I was at Govinda's and they served pizza, and I said, "Where is the sauce?" So she said, "Oh, you mean ketchup?" I said, "In India we call ketchup as sauce." But later I realized sauce is something else. Sauce is something which you put on top of the base, before you put all the other ingredients, right? And then all the cheese and herbs are added and all the toppings are added. So does that make a pizza, dear devotees? What else is needed? Yeah, so heating is needed, dear devotees, in order to merge all of them together, and finally you get your wonderful, pizza. Pineapple, yeah. So, dear devotees, base plus all the ingredients, when they undergo a certain process, it gives the final ingredient. And what is that final ingredient, dear devotees? Rasa. So, this is what Bhakti Rasa is all about. Now, once again in your mind, think of that pizza, dear devotees. Dear devotees, please tell me, that final taste that you are experiencing, is that the taste of the base? Please say yes or no. Is that the taste of the cheese? Is that the taste of the toppings or the herbs? Or is that a taste which is completely distinct from all of these? So this, dear devotees, is what rasa is. Rasa is not exactly the taste of sthai bhav. It is not the taste of vibhav. It is not the taste of anubhav. It is not the taste of satvik vyabhichari bhav. It is a completely different taste altogether. And therefore it is transcendental to this material world. It belongs to a completely supra-mundane platform. And therefore that pizza is completely different from its original ingredients. So I hope we were able to have some understanding into Bhojan Ras. All right. Now we have to apply the same understanding in which domain, dear devotees? Bhakti Ras. Okay. So let's have that same understanding in terms of Bhakti Ras. Dear devotees, in each and every one of our hearts, there is one predominant emotion, and that emotion is known as what, dear devotees? Sthai bhav. But just because that emotion exists doesn't mean that it will automatically get nourished. You need some components to nourish that predominant emotion lying within the heart. And what do you need? First and foremost, you need some causes. The cause of a particular event should be there. And if the cause is present, for example, the environment should change, or you should hear some kirtan. I hope you're able to understand. Some cause should be present. And what is the technical name of the cause, dear devotees? Vibhav. And after experiencing that, you should also have some effects on your body. And the effects are known as, dear devotees, as what? Anubhav. Anubhav means effects that come mainly from the body. You may say, aha, wow, so nice. Spontaneously, somebody may start dancing, somebody may start singing. So those effects are known as Anubhav. Some effects are seen only in the mind. But they are so powerful that they overcome the mind and they start showing on the body. For example, tears, standing of hair on end. These are effects which begin from where, dear devotees? Mind. But they overpower the mind and then they start showing on the body. They are known as Satvika Bhav. What are they known as, dear devotees? So both Satvika and Anubhav are actually effects, but Satvika arise mainly from one place. Which place, dear devotees? Mind. And Anubhavas may arise from the body mainly. So this is the primary distinction. All right. And then, dear devotees, you also have some transitory moods. Some side mood may come and nourish that. For example, Mother Yashoda is thinking about her child Shri Krishna when he has gone to the forest, and she is having a feeling of Vatsalya. How do we translate Vatsalya in English, dear devotees? Parenthood. Suddenly a feeling of Chinta comes. What is Chinta, dear devotees? Worry. My goodness, has he eaten properly or not? So this worry is a temporary feeling which comes and goes away, but it nourishes the main feeling. What is the main feeling, dear devotees? Sthai Bhav. So this temporary feeling which comes like a wave in an ocean, merges back into the ocean and nourishes the ocean. This temporary feeling is known as which bhav, dear devotees? Sanchari Bhav. Also known as Vyabhichari Bhav. Sanchari and Vyabhichari are synonymous to each other. And finally, when all of them get together, then what becomes Bhakti Ras, dear devotees? What is transformed into Bhakti Ras? Does anybody remember what is Bhakti Ras in one word? Sthai Bhav. So Sthai Bhav, when nourished by all of these, turns into what, dear devotees? Ras. Just as the pizza base, when nourished by all the other ingredients, transforms into the final pizza rasa. Similarly, Sthai Bhav, when nourished by all the other components, transforms into rasa. Now, let's understand with the help of examples, dear devotees. Please pay close attention. You have gone and you're watching a drama, and that drama is Draupadi Swayamvar. Draupadi's marriage is taking place, and dear devotees, this is the final scene before Draupadi's marriage is going to happen. I hope all of you know this scene, have heard of this scene. Who is that personality, dear devotees? Arjuna. And he just before he is about to strike the eye of the fish, and then Draupadi is looking anxiously because many have tried and many have failed. Arjun looks confidently in the water below, and then without moving his limbs, he suddenly shoots the arrow and it strikes the eye of the fish. At that moment, dear devotees, Draupadi experiences something. I hope you are able to understand. Put yourself in the position of which individual? Draupadi. Alright, you are empathizing because you have to empathize with a particular character. So here you are empathizing with Draupadi. Ladies will find it easier to empathize with her. No problem. Men can also try to empathize with what she is feeling. No problem. Dear devotees, Draupadi is feeling one of the 9 rasas, and which rasa? The rasa which she is feeling is Shringar. What is Shringar, dear devotees? Translated as romance. Because she was waiting for long, and when she saw this particular person, he had all the characteristics of a handsome man, and the way he was looking at Krishna also indicated that Krishna already knew him. So something is special about him, and suddenly he strikes the eye of the fish. The Sthai Bhav in the heart of Draupadi is Shringar. And what is the Sthai Bhav of Shringar Ras known as Rati? What is it known as? Rati. Romance is there in her heart, and then it is nourished by Vibhav. In English, what is Vibhav known as, dear devotees? Causes. The main cause here is Draupadi. If Draupadi was not there, would we be having a feeling of romance in the heart? Please answer yes or no. No. And if the event would not be there, would we be having a feeling of romance in our heart? No. So both are causes. And what is the cause known as in Sanskrit, dear devotees? Vibhav. So the causes are present. The event has taken place, and what is the event? Arjun has just struck the eye of the fish. So that is the particular event which has triggered the Vibhav. And then, dear devotees, Draupadi starts experiencing Anubhav. Draupadi suddenly starts smiling. Dear devotees, in front of you, she smiles, and Satvik Bhav, her mind is so overjoyed, it can't contain itself. Her hair stand on end at that point of time. And you are at this point of time looking at this very actor on the stage who is playing whose role, dear devotees? Draupadi. And then you look at her and you are experiencing all these emotions. And then suddenly some Sanchari Bhav, accessory moods, side moods also come to her. For example, excitement. etc. are also present within her. Together they give rise to one ras. Which ras is that, dear devotees? Shringar ras. And then you feel, oh my goodness, this is the perfect way to achieve a loving husband. You're already fallen in love with him, and then he does the impossible in front of the entire assembly of Kshatriyas. So for a lady, it is, it's like that Prince Charming who comes and sweeps her away, and then he proves himself in front of all the kings, dear devotees. The actress who is playing the role of Draupadi at that point of time is experiencing which ras? Shringar ras. But because you are like-minded to her sitting in the audience, you will also start experiencing a generalized version of which ras, dear devotees? Shringar ras. And if you are like-minded, completely absorbed, then that transcendental feeling will overcome you, and you will be washed in that entire feeling. And in English, I said catharsis. You will have that divine experience, which the previous acharyas say is non-material in nature. There is no higher feeling in the material world as compared to rasa. Neither television, nor cinema, nor anything can give you that feeling which you get when you experience what, dear devotees? Rasa. Bhakti rasa, of course, yeah, but rasa. Dear devotees, this is what? Now, let's take the same scene again. This time from the point of view of Arjuna, dear devotees, all right? So Arjuna, now we have to empathize with another character. Which character? Arjuna. So the men may be able to empathize more. Arjuna is experiencing what is known as Veeraras. What is Veeraras, dear devotees? Chivalry. He knows, I'll do it. I am that disciple of Dronacharya. If I don't prove myself today, then my name will not be Arjun, the foremost disciple of Dronacharya. And today all these Duryodhan, Karna, I'll humiliate all of them by proving my might. Dear devotees, Arjun is there in that assembly, and these people they tried to kill us. But today I will show that I am the greatest archer. I will snatch Draupadi in front of all of them. Today I'll win her over. And in this way I'll humiliate them all. In this heart is which ras, dear devotees? Veeras. The sthai bhav, the predominant emotion, has a technical name. What is the technical name? Utsaha. Utsaha means, he's very enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is there. That is the sthai bhav, and it is nourished by the causes. What is the cause known as in Sanskrit, dear devotees? Vibhav. What is the first cause? The first cause is Arjun should be there. If Arjun is not there, can we experience Veeras? No. And if the event is not there, the challenge is not there, then also we cannot experience Veeras. So both have to be present. Vibhav is present, plus, dear devotees, Anubhav and Sattvic. Anubhavs are there. What are the Anubhavs? Anubhav is stability. Arjun is very stable. He's not fickle-minded. In this case, there are no Sattvika bhavas because stability is needed. So Arjun is not currently experiencing any Sattvika bhavas. He shoots the arrow, and as soon as he shoots the arrow, it hits the eye of the fish. Dear devotees, at that point of time, Sanchari Bhav takes over him. What is Sanchari Bhav? Transitory emotion. What transitory emotion? Pride, I did it. In front, dear devotees, as soon as the entire audience comes to know, it sees in front of, because in dramas, they would actually do that. They would actually have an artist who could do such a thing. And as soon as he would do it in front of the entire audience who is associated, who is empathizing with Arjun, will experience one ras. Which ras, dear devotees? Veeras. And as soon as they experience Veer, I told you, the fundamental common factor in all rasas is Adbhuta. What is Adbhut mean, dear devotees? Wow. Oh my goodness. Wow. So that, dear devotees, is Veeras. I hope all of you were able to understand. So it is very important that the actor who is playing the role of Arjuna should experience which rasa? Veeras. And only from his heart will Veeras be transferred to the heart of the like-minded audience. So you cannot fake it. The actor also has to live up to the role or the character. Nowadays, in modern world, they call it method acting. What is method acting? For 2 or 3 months before they shoot any movie, the actor starts living as the character itself. So for example, if Prabhu, Gaur Govind Prabhu, somebody comes to him and says, Prabhu, we have selected you for the role of Shakespeare in an upcoming movie. So then Gaur Govind Prabhu will say, wow, wonderful, I sign up for the movie. Huh? When do we begin? We have 3 months to practice. All right. So from that day, it's not Gaur Govind Prabhu who comes home, it's Shakespeare who comes home, dear devotee. Huh? So that, dear devotees, is what you call method acting in. Then he lives 2 or 3 months like Shakespeare and he speaks like that, how art thou? So that's how he speaks to everyone. Huh? After 3 months, he's like Pakka Shakespeare. And then when he will play that role, then all those corresponding emotions will come out in the drama. So that is what, dear devotees, this is how rasa works. But we are not so much concerned with ordinary ras. Our main topic here is which ras, dear devotees? Bhakti ras. Right? But this foundation was necessary to help us understand how the process of ras works. Now that same drama has also been written by Sri Rupa Goswami for Bhakti Rasas. 2 dramas are very important. What are the 2 dramas that Sri Rupa Goswami? Lalita Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav. Both dramas have been written, and the purpose of drama is so that like-minded audience will sit. They will empathize either with Krishna or with Sri Radha, and they will experience the corresponding rasas. Sometimes they will empathize with a Sakha, then they will experience Sakhyaras. Sometimes they will empathize with a servant, they will experience Dasyaras. This is drama, rasas in action. But so you can also experience rasas through kavya. What is kavya? Poetry. So somebody may create that scene in your mind. So the entire stage is created in your mind, and then the person who's explaining it will draw all the characters and then specify the event, and then that rasa comes within your heart. So that is also possible through 2 mediums, through kavya, poetry, and through natya, drama. All right, you can experience rasa, but the original fountainhead of all rasas, dear devotees, is whom? Shri Krishna. Please repeat after me. Akhila rasamrita murtihi. Krishna is the personification of the entirety of all nectarian rasas. Here, very important, rasa amrita. What is the meaning of amrita? Nectar. It indicates that all rasas may not be directly found within Krishna, because there is one rasa which should not be found within Krishna, and dear devotees, that is jugupsa. Jugupsa means disgust. Nobody should ever become disgusted when looking at Shri Krishna. So jugupsa is the only, disgust is the only rasa which is found not in Krishna but is found only in relation to Shri Krishna. Our God doesn't mean that he should have all the rasas. He should have all the auspicious rasas. I hope you are able to understand. That is the Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhagavan. He is not supposed to have everything, including all the garbage of the material world. He is supposed to have only all the auspicious rasas. The negative rasas are not present in him. They are far away from him. Although they are in his domain, but they are not present directly within him. This is our Shri Krishna. And this, dear devotees, our Sri Rupa Goswami gives 5 main rasas. What are the 5 main rasas, dear devotees? Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakhyaras, Vatsalyaras, Madhuryaras. These are the 5 primary, and then there are 7 secondary. What are the 7 secondary rasas? Hasyaras, which is laughter. Adbhutaras, which is, what is Adbhutaras? Wow, all right. Veeraras, which is chivalry. Karunaras, which is piteousness. Raudraras, which is anger. Bhayanakras, which is horror. And Bibhatsaras, which is disgust. This final one, Bibhatsa, is not found in Shri Krishna. This we have to understand. It is only found in relation to which entity? Material world. Right? So this we have to understand. Once we understand this, we have understood the basic layout of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu's rasa section. Now, dear devotees, it's time to relish one by one the 5 main rasas. Which is the first rasa, dear devotees? Shantaras. Dear devotees, how many of you have seen an impersonalist sannyasi? Yeah, seen from with your eyes. An impersonalist sannyasi meditating on the impersonal Brahman. How many of you have seen? Would you like to see a sannyasi, like traditional impersonalist sannyasi? There's a very rare photograph of how and impersonally sannyasi would dry up their entire body in meditation on the impersonal Brahman. There's one photograph I have. You can see this is an actual photograph, dear devotees. So sannyas is very serious in the impersonal lineage. Adi Shankaracharya, it's a very serious business. You really, like Prabhupada used to say, social suicide. That is what sannyas is in Sri Adi Shankaracharya's Sampradaya. Dear devotees, you have to empathize now with such a person, because we are dealing with which ras? Shantaras. Such is a sannyasi meditating within the caves. And within the caves of a particular place near Mathura, this sannyasi is meditating, and meditating on what, dear devotees? The impersonal Brahman. And many years have passed, decades have passed. This sannyasi has attained samadhi. And samadhi, is that a personal samadhi or an impersonal samadhi? Dear devotees, as he has attained impersonal samadhi, dear devotees, he is meditating in the caves of Mathura, and suddenly Jarasandha attacks the city of Mathura. Dear devotees, and there is somebody to protect the city of Mathura. Who is present to protect the city of Mathura? Sri Krishna. And Sri Krishna fights Jarasandha and drives away his entire army, and some of the generals, they run into the caves. Sri Krishna comes chasing back after them, and Sri Krishna slaughters all of them outside the cave. And in order to make sure that Sri Krishna has declared victory, Sri Krishna enters into the cave. And as soon as Sri Krishna enters into the cave, he declares victory by playing the loud conch shell in front of the yogi, dear devotees. Some of your hair stood on end, isn't it? Huh? So I was trying to replicate it through poetry, through my description. But try to imagine if it happens in a drama. I hope you're able to understand, So then suddenly, dear devotees, you can see Bhagavan Sri Krishna comes in front of the yogi. And when he comes in front of that yogi, dear devotees, that yogi opens his eyes. He has heard that conch shell and he has understood. After many, many births, finally, that personality is here, whom I was waiting for. And at that point of time, Sri Rupa Goswami gives an example of a verse which is spoken by such a yogi. This verse is in the meter Shalini. I will try to sing. Please repeat after me. Sarva vidya dvamsato yah samasta आविर्भूतो निर्विकल्पे समाधौ जाते साक्षात् यादवेन्द्रे सविन्दन् मय्यानन्दः सान्द्रतां कोटिधासी Sarva avidya dhvamsato yah samastad. Destroying all my ignorance deep within my impersonal samadhi. Dear devotees, for this yogi now, his impersonal samadhi was also ignorance. And destroying that ignorance deep within my impersonal samadhi, I suddenly experienced unprecedented joy. When I heard that conch shell ring within my ears, my samadhi broke. Because I knew this is not an ordinary conch shell. This is Panchajanya. And Panchajanya gave me that feeling of unprecedented joy. And I was trying to see that Bhagavan within my heart, that impersonal Brahman within my heart, I was trying to perceive. But now he has become visible not as Paramatma, but Sakshad, Jate Sakshad Yadavendre. The Lord of the Yadus is present here right in front of me. My Ananda, my happiness, Sandratam Koti Dhasi is multiplied millions of times now. Bhagavan, you are present here in front of me. Bhagavan, please accept me as one of your own. These dear devotees is an example of which Bhakti Ras, dear devotees? Shanta Bhakti Ras. Sri Rupa Goswami gives an example of the Shanta Bhakti Ras of the yogi who wants to merge into Bhagavan but ends up seeing Bhagavan face to face and then asks that boon of merging right in front of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, please make me your own, which means please allow me to merge within yourself. This, dear devotees, is an example of which rasa? Shanta rasa. Of course, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't like it. Isn't it, dear devotees? Huh? All of you had wonder and you say, wow, as soon as the conch shell blew. Because I told you there is one common factor in all the rasas. What is the common factor? Wow. And you felt that wow. But it is not desirable by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we will, although it is wow, but we have better vows in our life, dear devotees. So please read the translation. Gaur Govind Prabhu, please read the translation.
Destroying all my ignorance deep within my impersonal samadhi, there was an unprecedented joy. However, the Lord of the Yadavas, Krishna, is now visible to me face to face, thereby increasing the joy of my samadhi by millions of times.
This, dear devotees, is Shantaras. Which ras comes next, dear devotees? Dasya. Now, dear devotees, Dasya ras, you have to put in your mind that situation where Bhagavan Ram is victorious over Ravan and has come back from Lanka to his city to be coronated as the king. Which city, dear devotees? Ayodhya. In Ayodhya, Bhagavan Ram has been coronated as the king. He's very happy. He's looking at all of his subjects and then he looks at all the individuals who helped him during the war. Then he looks at Sugriv and he's so happy. Then he calls Sugriv and he gives Sugriv some gifts. Then he calls Angad, the son of Bali, and he calls and gives him some gift. Then Nal and Neel, the architects of the bridge, he calls them and he gives them some gifts. And then finally, there is one individual hiding in the corner, dear devotees, Sri Hanuman. So Bhagavan Ram notices him and says, Are, come here. And then Bhagavan Ram embraces Sri Hanuman. In front of everybody, he gives him what he has not given to any other servant. So this, dear devotees, is Sri Hanuman, and put yourself now, empathize with Sri Hanuman in this position. Your own Bhagavan has called you to give you some gift. And Bhagavan is asking you, what do you want? What is your answer, dear devotees? What do you want? Do you want anything from Bhagavan's collection of ornaments? Please tell me. So Hanuman says no. And then Sita Devi, she looks at Bhagavan Ram and says, she indicates his necklace, his most important necklace, and says, give it to him. She indicates like this. So Bhagavan Ram takes out his necklace and he's about to give it to Hanuman. At that point of time, Sri Hanuman says something. Please repeat after me. Hanuman apitam praha natva ramam prahrushtadhi tvanam smarato rama natripyati mano mama yavat sthasyati te nama loke tavat kalevaram mama tishtatu rajendra varoyam me bhikankshitah. So Hanuman apitam pra, Hanuman also replied, prahrishthati. He bowed down and he spoke with an overjoyed heart. Tvan nama smarato Rama, as I utter your name, O Ram, na tripyati mano mama. My mind is not satisfied. I am not satisfied uttering your names. I do not want this necklace, but I want one thing. Yavat sthasyati te nama, as long as your name exists in this world. Till that time, Kalevaram, let me exist in this world. Because I wish to depart from this world after your Naam. Why, dear devotees, what is the hidden message? A person is not, a person's identity in this world remains as long as his name remains, not as long as his body remains in the world. A person's identity in this world remains as long as his name remains in this world. So Bhagavan, as long as your identity exists in this world, till that time I wish to exist in the world. Only after destruction, when your name will disappear from the world, at that time I want to come to you. This, dear devotees, is which rasa? Lasya rasa. Please read the translation.
When Sri Rama gifted a brilliant necklace to him and asked him for benediction, Sri Hanuman bowed down to him and spoke with an overjoyed heart. Sri Rama, as I utter your name, my mind is never fully satisfied. Please give me the benediction that as long as your name exists in this world, let my body too reside here.
So some of you, dear devotees, might be experiencing some symptoms of tears or something like that. And then this, dear devotees, it moves your heart, and this is called a semblance, an abhas of bhava. It is called bhav abhas. And if you develop it further, then you can also experience bhava. And bhava, when nourished, becomes prema, which is experienced as bhakti rasa. I hope you are able to understand, dear devotees. This is what it is. Next is which ras, dear devotees? Sakhya bhakti ras. Sakhya bhakti ras. Our Bhagavan is lifting Govardhan hill, and nearby some sakhas are there. They are, supporting him by their sticks. There's a very nice verse by Sri Rupa Goswami in the meter Shardula Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Let's sing together, dear devotees. Unnidrasya yayustavatra viratim saptakshapastishtato hanta shranta ivasi nikshipa sakhe Shridama Panau Girim Adhir Vidyati Nastvamarpaya Hare Kim Vakshanam Dakshine Doshnaste Karavam Kama Madhuna Savyasya Samvahanam. Krishna, Unnidrasya Yayustavatra Viratim. Krishna, for 7 days you have not slept. 7 days you did not sleep, Krishna. All of us took turns to sleep, but you did not sleep, Krishna. And not only 7 days, Saptak Shapa, 7 nights you did not sleep. Day and night you are awake, Tishthato. And suddenly after 6 days, Krishna started yawning just for the purpose of this. So the Sakhas immediately picked up on that. Bhagavan has many defects, transcendental defects. One of them is yawning, dear devotee. So, Bhagavan Vishnu never yawns. Bhagavan Krishna yawns. Bhagavan Vishnu never blinks his eyes. Krishna blinks his eyes. Vishnu never sleeps. He only half closes his eyes and goes in samadhi. Krishna sleeps and blabbers at night. There is a very big difference between Vishnu and Shri Krishna. So, Hanta Shrant, oh my goodness, you are yawning. You are definitely tired. Nikshipak Sakhe Shridam Apano. Shridam, you raise your hand. Krishna, you put that hill on Shridam's hand. All right, for second. So Krishna started laughing. Nay. Adhir Vidyatinas. Our heart is aching because of, you are lifting this hill for 7 days. Nastvamarpaya kare kim vakshanam dakshina. At least for a moment, shift it from left hand to which hand? Right hand, At least shift it from left hand to right hand. Doshna, so that doshnaste karvama kama muduna savyasya, so that we will massage your left hand by the time you are lifting it using your right hand. These, dear devotees, if you are a sahriday, like-minded, then you will see from the friend's point of view, and then you will feel for Shri Krishna. And these, dear devotees, you will experience which bhakti ras, dear devotees? Sakhya bhakti ras. Please read the translation.
Dear friend, 7 days have passed and you have not slept. Alas, you appear to be very tired. Please hand over this hill now to Shridama. Agitation has overtaken our hearts. At least for a moment, shift that hill to your right hand so that we can freely massage that left hand of yours.
This, dear devotees, is, see, in English it becomes very formal. Oh friend, in day to day you don't address people like that. Oh friend, So that in Hindi we have some, Arey yaar, like that. Yeah. Like, yaar. So that is what Sakhi is in English, in Sanskrit, na? Arey yaar. Or in English equivalent, buddy. They say buddy nowadays. So that is what, but still that informality is in Sakhe. So that informality is needed. Otherwise we'll think the friends are addressing Krishna as, oh friend, so that's not what is going on. So they're saying, Arey yaar, come on, you're tired, put it on your right hand, all right? Or at least give it to Sridama. So this is what is going on at that point of time. All right, dear devotees, next is which ras, dear devotees? Vatsalya Bhakti Ras. So our Krishna has a habit of sleeping at night, and sleeping, our Krishna doesn't have a peaceful sleep every night, dear devotees. Sometimes at night he starts blabbering, and dear devotees, when Sri Krishna starts blabbering at night, it puts Mother Yashoda into anxiety. This is a wonderful verse by Sri Rupa Goswami in Padyavali, where he is describing what happened at night, one fine night, when Bhagavan started blabbering in his sleep. Same meter, Shardul Vikriditam, let's sing together, dear devotees. Shambho swagatamasya tamita ito vamena padmodbhava Kraunchare kushalam sukham surapate vitteshano drishyase Itham swapnagatasya kaitabharipo Shrutva jananyagiram Kim kim balaka jalpasityanuchitam Thut kritam patuva. So our Sri Krishna went to sleep at night. In the middle of the night, Mother Yashoda is also sleeping next to him. The devotees, you have to put yourself in the position of Mother Yashoda here. All right. Although it is difficult, because all of you will laugh in this verse, but actually Mother Yashoda is concerned. She is not laughing. But dear devotees, I'll still translate the verse. In his sleep, Bhagavan starts blabbering in the middle of the night. Shambho swagatamasyatam. In the daytime, he asked Nanda Maharaj, he had asked Nanda Maharaj, who is the king of heaven? Nanda Maharaj said, Indra. Acha, Indra, tomorrow I will remove him from his position. So before he removed him tomorrow, at night he started having his dreams. He has already removed him from the position. All right, So he is now the new king of heaven. He is sitting like this, and Shambho swagatam asyatam. Oh Shiva, swagatam, welcome Shiva. Asyatam, sit on my right hand side. Shiva, sit here. Ito, here. Vamena padmodbhava. Oh lotus born Brahma, welcome to the new kingdom of the king of heaven. Sit here on my left hand side. There is space here on left hand side. Kraunchare kushalam. Kartikeya, is everything okay with you? You are our commander in chief. I hope everything is okay with you. Sukham surapate. Oh Indra, I hope you are still happy. It's okay. Not everyone gets everything in life. So Viteshano drishyase. Kuber, you are not seen nowadays. What happened? Government has changed. Kuber, you have to report because you are a tax minister. You have to report to the government. Itham swapnagatasya kaitabaripu. In this way, in his dream, he is blabbering. Shrutva jananyagira. Mother suddenly woke up. And he's saying, Shiva, sit on my right. Brahma, sit on my... Kim balaka jal. What nonsense. Yeah. Anuchitam. Tu Krishna. Tu. Krishna woke up. What happened? What nonsense are you speaking? So dear devotees, thu kritam patuva. May that act of spitting by Mother Yashoda protect all of you, dear devotees. So this is the translation of the verse.
Shiva, welcome. Sit down. Brahma, you sit at my left. Kartikeya, auspiciousness to you. Indra, happiness to you. Kuvera, what happened? You are not seen much nowadays. Hearing Krishna say this, Mother Yashoda said, Child, What nonsense are you saying? And proceeded to spit in order to prevent any ill omens. May this occasion of Mother Yashoda will protect you all.
Yes, dear devotees, may this action of Mother Yashoda protect all of you. This is which ras, dear devotees? Vatsalya ras. And then we have one final example on which ras? Madhurya ras. Not so much on Madhurya ras because I don't want to give away the entire package. So dear devotees, one or two final verses on Madhurya ras. And then today, since I wish to end on time because 11 o'clock also we have to come back. So I'll take one or two queries. And then rest of the queries there is time in the evening at 4:30, dear devotees. So I'll take one or two queries after this, and rest of the queries I'll take at 4:30. So here we are, dear devotees, at Madhurya Ras, dear devotees. Here is a verse. Sri Krishna and Srimati Radharani are standing under the Kadamba tree, and from a distance, a Manjari observes both of them, and then she gives a sarcastic comment towards Sri Krishna. Dear devotees, here is the sarcastic comment. Let's sing in the same meter, dear devotees. Please sing along with me. Shri Radha Sarala Tribhanga Vapusha Sakam Tvaya Samsthita Hastam Sadadati Tavan Rijukache Tvat Saukhyame Vechati Drishtva tam prati nairapekshami hate jane na damodara kautilyam khalu putra testi paramam dehe kache vahridi. So she is saying Shri Radha Sarala. Shri Radha is very, straight in her standing position. Tribhanga Vapusha Sakam Tvaya Samsthita, but she is standing with the most crooked person. Dear devotees, Sri Radha's position while standing is absolutely straightforward. And how is your position, Sri Krishna? Bent in three places. You are crooked even in your style of standing. That is where it begins, dear devotees. Hastam sadadati tavan rijukache. Suddenly she takes her hand and puts it in your hair, and that hair is also not straight. Dear devotees, unriju, that hair is also crooked completely. Tvat saukhyame vechati. She only desires your happiness when she does this. But even though she's putting her hand through your hair, she's running her hand through your hair, Drishtva tam prati nairapekshami hate. You are acting indifferent to her. You are not paying so much attention to her. Jane na damodar. I don't know Damodar. Kautilyam kholukutra testi paramam. Where in you is the highest crookedness? Dehe kache vahridi. Is the highest crookedness in your body, in your hair, or in your heart? Please tell me, Krishna. Where is the highest crookedness within you? I am unable to understand. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
Sri Radha is standing in a straightforward manner with you, whose body is curved in three places. As she runs her hand through your curly hair, she only desires your happiness. O Damodar, seeing your neglectful behavior towards her, I am unable to decide where exactly is the highest degree of crookedness lies within you. Does it lie within your body, your hair, or your heart?
Please give an answer, dear devotees. Then she says immediately, aha, hridaye yasya kautilyam hare tishthati sarvada deha keshadi sarvam vai tasyatra kutilayate. Hridaya yasya kautilyam. Now I understood. When crookedness resides within the heart, then everything related to him, his body, his hair, start becoming crooked, dear devotees. So, where is the greatest amount of crookedness, dear devotees? Heart. And that is why it is reflecting in all aspects of your body. Isn't it, Sri Krishna? This, dear devotees, is example of which Bhakti Ras? Madhur Bhakti Ras. Thank you very much, dear devotees. I'll pause my speech here. Yadatra skalitam kinchid vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit Tadguru Reva Me Nahi. If there are any mistakes in what I spoke, your learned devotees, please correct any mistakes. But if there's anything nice, please understand it belongs to my Gurujanas. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we'll take one or two queries, one by Jai Jagannath Prabhu, and then, okay, one by Gaur Govind Prabhu, and then we'll also ask Maharaj if he wants to say something. Yeah, Prabhu.
I'm curious how deep your method acting comparison goes, because yeah, just hearing you say that, my thinking was that, like, if we wanted to really relate to a certain rasa when reading Krishna's Leela, then we would have to really, like, almost like study the character to understand the Anubhavs and Satvika bhavs and the Sanchari bhavs and the Vibhavas that excite that particular position, especially like if we're not accustomed to looking at a scene in terms of rasa. You would really have to, like, kind of like study it. And then after study it, you could really, like, contemplate it and make it part of you. And then at least, like, in your secular life, you're doing your secular work. But then when you come to relate to Krishna consciousness, you could do so from the perspective of the character that you're, like, kind of making part of you through, like, deep study. So yeah, so the question simply is, how deep does your method acting comparison go? And this is what's going on in the background in my mind.
Yeah. So there was a book written in English, Acting as a Way of Salvation. You know how many? So there was a book about Srila Rupa Goswami, Acting as a Way of Salvation. Actually, the culture is that you don't need to really study so much in detail. The first thing is you should see dramas live. You should have a culture of seeing dramas and performed by very expert authors. And all the timings are very important. And then even without studying this entire theory, you begin to experience some of the vows, and then you become curious as to what this is. And then you can study the theory behind it. So that is how Sri Rupa Goswami also did it. He had watched so many dramas in his life, in his childhood. And then later he understood Bharat Muni's Rasa Siddhanta. And then he also wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Lalit Madhav and Vidagdh Madhav to support what is there in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Today's world, we have very few devotional dramas going on. So therefore, greater amount of effort is required, because now you don't have Drishya Kavya. Now you have Shravya Kavya, Kavya which is heard. You don't have Kavya which is seen, you have Kavya which is heard. And even when devotees play a drama on the stage, often they don't really get into the character. And when they, sometimes they are playing the role of Sudama, and it's supposed to be Karun Ras. Karun means it's supposed to be piteousness, but sometimes they play it like as if he's, some sort of he's joking, it's in Hasya Ras they show it. And almost all dramas end up with Hasya Ras, dear devotees. So that is not how it should be. Therefore, either you have expert drama players who understand this entire methodology, or you invest yourself deeply into Shravya Kavya. Shravya Kavya means you build the entire scene yourself. And when you build the entire scene yourself, then gradually you will start to relish these things. But previously, it was not like that. Previously, they used to have drama, so many dramas, and Sri Rupa Goswami encouraged that culture. But nowadays, it is become difficult. So Shravya Kavya is the main medium, or you get together with devotees and a few devotees, one of whom is expert in portraying all the, if Bhagavan has given somebody that capacity that they are expert in portraying some emotion, you put them on the stage and they will portray that for you, and they will speak the katha for you. And then you start reminiscing within your heart, and gradually you start identifying with one of the ideal Vrajavasis. Then you make that Vrajavasi as your ideal role model, Ragatmika, and follow behind the Ragatmika, you become Raga Anuga. So that is the simple process. I hope that answers to some degree of satisfaction. Yeah. So one last query by Gaur Govind Prabhu, and then we'll go to Maharaj. Yeah.
In the writings of Goswamis, we also notice that sometimes Shantarasa is addressed to entities like trees, animals in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
And also maybe Vaikuntha. But can you make distinctions how
so the
to understand?
Trees, animals, etc. in Vaikuntha, many of them are in Shantaras. Many of them. They personally, because they are living entities, they are experiencing Shantaras. So the trees, animals, etc. in Vaikuntha, many of them experience Shantaras. Some of them may also have a mixture of Shanta and Dasya. And that is what you call Sankula Rati. Sankula means a mixture of 2 or more ratis is called Sankula rati. And some may have Shuddha rati. Shuddha means pure Shantaras. So, like this, when Bhagavan Vishnu walks and just touches them, just casually touches them, their hair stand on end, and as if, and they wish to passively observe everything. After passively observing everything, they wish to consider themselves non-different from that Bhagavan, and in this way say, this way relish their Brahman realization. So that is Shantaras in Vaikuntha.
So they kind of merge into Brahma, into Bhagavan, but they also have the ability to experience.
Yeah, Sri Jiva Goswami says in Priti Sandarbh, Adatte Harihastena. The living entity who is in this Shantaras, sometimes he feels I am accepting through the hands of Hari, I am walking through the feet of Hari, I am eating through the mouth of Hari. So they experience all of that. And sometimes they also see themselves as distinct from Hari. But they don't wish to participate actively. They have passive participation. All right. They don't wish to participate actively as a devotee. They wish to passively either observe passively or observe from the viewpoint of Hari. That is the Shantaras that is described in Priti Sandarbha. Vrindavan, they become overcome by other rasas, Vatsalya, Dasya, Sakhya. So one rule doesn't apply for every, although Acharyas give a general rule. Vrindavan, Madhurya, all the trees, they also experience Madhurya. But they become influenced by other rasas. Some of them maybe also be in Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya. They may be experiencing like that. Acharyas give a general statement like cows are also experiencing Vatsalyas. All cows are experiencing Vatsalyas. The Acharyas say like this. It's a fact. And at the same time, other rasas are also experienced by trees, creepers, etc. Right? This is what you call Sankula. Sankula means the entity is not fixed in one particular rati. They are a mixture of 2 or more. Like Uddhav is also a servant. Uddhav is also a friend. Uddhav has a mixture of servitude and friendship. So that is Sankula rati. Classic example is Uddhav. So I hope that answers your query. Right? Yeah. There is Brahma Sayujya and Ishwar Sayujya. That is. Yeah, Sachirati, yeah. Yeah, so there are many gradations within. Like in Veer Ras, there is Dayaveer, Danveer, Dharmaveer, Yuddhaveer. So there are many subcategories of Shantarati also. But
Prahlad Maharaj is also in Shantaras.
Yeah, Prahlad Maharaj also sometimes starts associating with that. So sometimes he may also have Sankula Rati. But Shuddha Dasya is seen in Sri Hanuman. Hanumanji doesn't associate with any other rasa. Okay. Thank you. Maharaj, your final words?
I really have no final words because the subject is just so wonderful. It is so great. It is opening our understanding to what is so important for devotees who go further into bhakti, that is experience. The bhakti experience is an experience of the bhakti ras. And I think I have so much to say about this. I have 25 years to say about this. But here I will just say, the Bhagavatam says there is one path, Shrutekshita. It is seeing through hearing. Yeah. And you gave us a very nice, 5 very nice examples, starting with that impersonal yogi who hears the shank of the Lord and then sees him and what goes on in him. You set up a stage, so to say, in our minds. And then we could, if we were not asleep and not still thinking about the pizza example, we could really get a taste, a beginning taste of what the bhakti rasa could be. So Shrutekshita, hearing and then seeing, that is the Bhagavatam way. And I think it was wonderful that you gave these examples so that we know what it might be. Not that, my dear devotees, it's so overwhelming that you really lose your taste. for the illusory tastes of this world. So but you have to be willing to go the Shrutekshita path. And yes, as I said, there are many, many, many things which could be said, but you did very well. We are very satisfied, and I don't want to spoil the atmosphere with things. I'm also very aware of the time. We have to do many things before 11 o'clock. So I will switch over to Gaura Hari.
Gaura Hari Prabhu, just 1 minute. I'd also like to thank the devotee who played the conch.
Nitya Kishori. I think,
all right.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Didi. Let's have a round of applause for the wonderful.
Thank you so much, Hariprasad Prabhu, for being such a wonderful teacher, helping us to repeat the terms and making it in such a easy and digestible way. I often heard all those names, but I never could really put them together. Thank you so much. That was a brilliant contribution. Today the program that's actually the last full day that we have for the retreat, and it will be super packed. We have really like a very a lot of programs today. We have the Sunday's Feast that is included in the program. This is an optional program. It is mainly there for guests who are habitually coming every Sunday. You are most welcome to attend as well, but if you need also to chant your rounds sometimes or rest or whatever, please feel free to skip it. And the prasadam will be served at 2:30 in the tent. Children program is a little bit different today, but still super exciting. All the informations are on the temple door and meeting point in the pizzeria. We were learning from Hariprasad Prabhu. He was touching on this point to always remember Krishna and never forget him. I thought of a very nice and practical way we can train ourselves by not forgetting to register and always please go from 9 to 10 in the first floor for those of you who did not register yet. And also tomorrow it will be like a holiday in Germany, and some of you might be traveling in the morning. If you need some sandwich for the traveling, we are happy to provide that, provided that you also give a mention into the registration. So please don't forget. I met once Hariprasad Prabhu in Vrindavan just before Kartik, and it was our luck with Vajayanti. We just met Prabhu, and Prabhu, the first question that he asked us is, what will you learn, what will you study during Kartik? And yesterday, Prabhuji was touching on the importance of study, self-study, and I would like to bridge to that. I got very nice information from Manjari Mataji. Maybe Manjari Mataji, if you can just stand up. She's actually, I guess, with a wonderful team in Hungary. They are leading a Bhaktivedanta college, which give like high accreditation. They have around 300 students right now, Hungarian students, but it will also be in English. You can also learn not only online, but directly in person. This is a very brilliant possibility to learn. This is in a temple compound, a temple environment. So any one of you who would feel inspired to have such, be able to receive such a wonderful training, please approach Manjari Mataji after the lecture. She has pamphlet and she can give you all the informations needed.
Yes. Also, are there some books by Maharaj? You don't. All right. Okay.
So there is the last announcement that I would like to Sachinandana Swami to please come forward.
Yes. Hare Krishna. I will. It will change the mood a little bit. I wanted to just say, as someone who is connected with Golokadam, that it is our great desire to create this forum for hearing and I guess with the worship of Radha Madan Mohan, which is done a little in the Vrindavan style, to create possibilities for devotees to relish Krishna consciousness. And since a few years, we are trying to finish that prasadam room outside. You saw it, no? It's still a Baustelle, construction site. And we are as poor as you probably are. So we want to offer it to Radha Madan Mohan on the next Jamashtami. Now, I know most of you are poor, penniless, Sudama-like Vaishnavas. This announcement is not for you. You need to keep your Lakshmi for your bread and butter. But if we have a person who is blessed with wealth, please consider helping us to finish this place. You have seen this prasadam, this never-ending building site outside. You have seen? No? Yes, middle. Yes, it's brown, and it's always with plastic covered because we so on. Yes, Manjulali will speak very briefly about it. I think Manjulali, because these are all poor devotees, there may be only two rich people. So you can say, meet me afterwards to this. No?
Yeah, like Maharaj was saying, our main motivation is really to create a place where devotee can sit, can chant, can take prasadam together, can meet and have a nice social place. And we've been working on this. I put up a little poster, so we are also announcing for people who has special qualities in carpeting, putting down tiles. We actually have a date which is before Jamashtami, because on the 6th to the 9th of June, we will have the 50-year anniversary of Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. So this is a wonderful festival. This date is normally never there. We always have other festivals, but this is like a special date for us because we have this festival. And our deep desire is that we at least have finished the walls, the floors, the main thing that one can be in the room. Just now before prasadam, whoever is interested to have a little tour and see how far we have come, we'll just take a small walk of the place, maybe 10-15 minutes. You can ask your questions. You can see how we are moving forward. And especially help with practical things. Those who likes this kind of service, doing some practical work, like the verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2:3:152. In this verse, it says you should do what your natural inclination. So we have a natural inclination for some practical work with a hammer and nails, then please also contact us. And we have actually depleted our reserves. The temple has absolutely no reserve because we have put everything into this. So we are like really on a thin thread of existence at the moment. And few devotees have put their own savings forwarded. But it's not like a donation, just that we could keep on working for now. So any kind of donation is also very welcome, even if it's a small donation, but also practical work. And if you like to see the site and have a small wow effect, because it's really becoming nice, then we meet just now in front of the temple shop door, and we can just have a small walk around, those who want to come. Thank you very much.